海洋是人类最大的狩猎场，靠海的人们守望着潮汐，将一整季的丰收幻化成千百种风味，加以密封、保存，不分季节时令，等待与人们的味蕾相遇。
Canned food for me represents my childhood,
My life, my work.
my heritage, and hopefully my future.
Mundo novo que se abriu, estou super entusiasmado por estar a conhecer cada vez mais.
《里斯本坐落在欧洲大陆西端，是葡萄牙最大的城市，坐拥一望无际的大西洋。这是林明伦这一趟走访镇乡之宝的目的地。依山傍水的地理位置，孕育出热情好客的民族，也赋予他们得天独厚的美食原材料。大海的恩赐被葡萄牙人巧妙地打造成里斯本的镇乡之宝。这个宝不止价格亲民，还老少咸宜。
Sardines. It's amazing.
octopus, tuna. These two are great.
For me, it's tuna.
The tasty is very characteristic for my country.
It's like a quick way to make food and it's very cheap.
Normally, I have about 3-4 times a week.
据说葡萄牙人把罐头食品当成是他们的饮食文化的一部分。罐头食品，哎，这个给我的印象是不好吃、便宜，而且不健康啊。所以我就很纳闷，我说葡萄牙人他们本身就是一个很讲究美食的民族，怎么会对区区一个罐头趋之若鹜，甚至还把它当成是盘中之宝？看来这个宝肯定是不简单，我得要去了解了解。
里斯本的镇乡之宝不难找，毕竟它也为葡萄牙带来可观的经济效益。为了满足国内外的市场需求，葡萄牙一年生产重达6万吨的海鲜罐头，价值高达4.5亿新元。加起来的罐头数量足以装满44个奥林匹克游泳池呢。
真的是琳琅满目啊！看到我眼花缭乱，根本都不知道从哪里着手。
Hi, may I help you?
Oh yes, I definitely need help. I'm so lost.
So the sardines is one of the most popular fish in Portugal, and you could find sardine olive oil,
Yep.
spice olive oil, tomato, and spicy tomato. And this is a special edition that was made last year in September, October, when the sardine is very fat.
放眼看去，这家色彩缤纷的罐头专卖店，单是沙丁鱼品种就有16个品牌，还口味繁多。加上其他的鱼类和海鲜选择，这里总共贩卖了大约300款罐头，个个包装精美，各具特色，叫许多慕名而来的游客都难以招架。
So how do you normally eat this?
Well, you can eat it like this.
Straight from the can?
Yes.
吃鱼呢，我就喜欢吃肚子的那个部分，因为那边啊味道最香。沙丁鱼本身的香味很浓郁，它再加上了一股甜，它的那个甜就是海鲜的那种鲜味。这是 mackerel 鱼卵。
Yes.
See, it's okay.
Here is the piri piri.
Okay, that's bay leaf.
Yes.
它是比较干的，但是因为它是浸在橄榄油里面，再加上有辣椒，味道呢真的是很浓郁。我相信这个就很好配饭哦。So I guess this one you have to eat the whole piece at one go.
Yes.
温 wonderful。真的太好吃了，感觉就是整个大海都在嘴里了。This is my favorite.
Yes.
Yes.
热爱美食的葡萄牙人，把大西洋的丰盛资源打造成人人都可负担得起的优质商品。无论走简易或高级路线，都能完美融入日常饮食文化当中。在里斯本，罐头食品不仅仅用来充饥，还体现这个民族追求精致口味的精神。
How long can you actually keep this canned
Oh,
food?
5 years at least. But some fishes like the sardines, the mackerel, and the tuna, if you keep it more years, they are like the wine. The flavor change. It's more soft.
谁会想到区区一个罐头可以和美酒相提并论？想当初，罐头食品还是在一片战乱中研发出来的。19世纪，欧洲战争不断，法国人发明罐头食品保鲜技术，为军队提供食物。后来食材短缺，他们进而转向葡萄牙获取原材料，也开始在当地设立罐头工厂。在全盛时期，葡萄牙就有多达300间鱼罐头工厂。这一趟来到里斯本，明伦将驱车3小时去拜访一家鱼罐头工厂，进一步了解打造镇乡之宝的秘诀。工厂一般设立在渔港附近，距离市区200到300公里。
Hey, you must be Tiago.
I'm Thiago, you're Darren, right?
That's right.
Very nice to meet you.
Thank
Go in.
Wow. I can smell the fish already.
You can smell the yeah. That you're in a canning factory.
Tiago 是鱼罐头老字号专卖店的老板，近6年来，店里的罐头都交由这里制造。工厂规模并不大，叫人意外的是，老板和员工都很年轻，却不追求自动化操作，反而坚持以手工生产。
You took the head off up until the first spine.
Yep.
Whenever it pops,
Yep.
you just pull out so to pull the guts and everything out.
That
That's-
looks interesting.
that's the idea.
Can I actually try?
Yeah, sure.
Really?
There's a knife. You really have to take the guts out very, very well. If you leave just a tiny bit there, it might ruin the color of the oil, it might ruin the flavor, it might get a little bitter.
技巧呢，其实就是你不能够太用力的挤压它，你太用力挤压它，当你把它切开来，你拉出来的时候，它的内脏就留在里面啦，轻轻的拉出来，看到吗？这一下子它的内脏就出来了。OK， 然后剩下的就是看有没有很脏。OK 啊，有一点点，把它拉出来，这就干净了。What do you think of this? It's okay?
It's getting much better.
Yeah.
95%.
95%.
Perfection.
当天捕捞的新鲜鱼货一送到工厂，就马上进行加工。新鲜的沙丁鱼保存期短，做成罐头之后，反而可以更好地保留其 Omega-3不饱和脂肪酸。鱼骨被软化，也能增加钙质含量。比起其他较大型工厂一天成千上万的生产量，手工罐头厂一天制造900个罐头已是极限。
There is a vent in there. We put it between 5 and 8 Celsius degrees. The vent will change the air at a certain rate, and this will remove the moisture inside the fish.
一般的工厂利用蒸汽将鱼肉脱水煮熟，过程只需30到45分钟。这里采用的低温风干法，足足耗上20-30倍的时间。据说是葡萄牙唯一一间这样做的罐头厂。鱼肉表皮和脂肪没有受到高温破坏而流失，更能维持肥美的口感。不过这种做法相较起来也更高成本。
When you're thriving for quality, I mean, everything is worth it. It's worth it to do it by hand, it's worth it to wait the 22 hours, and actually, when you try them, you feel the flavor in it.
所有的东西都是手工的，都是亲力亲为，都是自己的手触碰过的食物。从这个过程里面哦，就可以感受到为什么他们会为自己所做出来的罐头鱼感到这么骄傲。Smells so good, the aroma, the best olive oil, yeah?
Yeah, only the best here.
哇，你看流下来的就好像是黄金一样哎，那个就是橄榄油，很香很香。你看到它很多油，对不对？满溢出来了，可是它一点都不浪费，因为它们会流到下面，然后会储存，然后再循环再用的。
被密封消毒过的鱼罐头会被放置3到6个月后才包装送到市场上卖，这样可以确保口味的稳定性。一个沙丁鱼罐头从里到外都下足了心思，葡萄牙人视之如宝，为其所花的人力、时间和金钱，实在叫人大开眼界。只是这份心意，经得起市场的千锤万炼吗？
Wow, cheers!
里斯本的镇乡之宝不仅是葡萄牙人的心头好，还风靡全球。每年生产的海鲜罐头有70%出口到国外，价值高达3.2亿新元。小小的鱼罐头魅力不容小觑，全国上下有大约20间鱼罐头工厂，为当地人提供至少3500个就业机会。
Hello, hi guys. Hi.
Oh, I think they're having a snack.
It's sardines.
This is sardines with
Roast pepper.
roast pepper. At the end of the day, so what we do, we try to see all the details. When we start to develop a new product, it's like the first market test that it's here inside.
So the way you function is like a family. Everybody has a say in the business and also how you improve in the recipe and all that.
But this one is not good the first time I tried because Manuel puts a lot of habanero and try to kill us.
Oh, really? Try to kill you? Oh, man.
冷冻工艺的崛起曾一度影响葡萄牙的鱼罐头工业，工厂从全国300多家减少到20家。还好有眼前这群年轻人，还坚持为从小吃到大的鱼罐头劳心费力，力求创新。里斯本的其中一家鱼罐头老字号专卖店，正是 Tiago 努力守护传承的家族生意。
This is sardine fillets, sardine with skin and bones, needlefish.
1930年，爷爷在罐头零售商店工作，用10多年的时间，逐步买下公司股份，从小员工变成大老板之一。店面还维持着92年前的装潢，卖的是自家3大品牌的海鲜罐头。爷爷当年有远见，早就为产品申请注册商标。最著名的 Tricana 罐头系列已有80年之久。品牌名字的灵感来自于当年在葡萄牙中部用头顶着篮子卖鱼的女人。
Try to sort this out and see where they belong. Is it correct? I'll go according to the color. All right, and 就算是颜色辨别哦，你要找都要花一点点时间的。是我色盲吧？OK。
老店里的罐头全裹上设计精美的包装纸，以颜色区分种类。Tiago 说，牌子和口味不直接打印在罐头上，是因为他们对品质要求严谨。如果工厂送来的罐头品质不达标，就会被退回去，以次等货低价售出，免得造成浪费。
You check to see if it's aligned.
包裹罐头也是手工活儿，谁在店里打工都得练好这门功夫。
Okay.
Pull it a little more.
Okay.
Fold it stronger.
看似简单的东西啊，往往通常就是最难的。
Now lift it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let it face this way.
Okay. And
感觉我的脸好像要抽筋了，你知道吗？
now imagine the ladies that used to do like 1,000 of these in 8
Oh
hours.
my goodness.
The important part. Get these parts round. Get all the fish.
In the
See?
center.
That's good.
Tiago 自小就在店里跟着大人忙前忙后，受到耳濡目染，对待细节自然也不敢马虎。以前还没发明购物袋，他们会把顾客买的罐头用牛皮纸包起来，方便外带。如今日新月异，店里依然保留这份传统。手传的温度给了这些老字号罐头难以取代的人情味。
The spicy tomato definitely on bread, so it soaks the sauce of the tomato. The octopus, you can boil some white rice.
Tiago 趁着包裹商品，不忘为顾客提供解说服务。老店以人为本，除了罐头品质，柜台服务也一样看重。
Yours is 15.27.
No, this is mine.
Yeah, that's yours.
That's yours. I touched
Hers.
9年前，父亲和合资伙伴相继去世。当年35岁的 Tiago 考虑良久后，决定放弃工程师的工作，提早接管家族生意。他很清楚，这家92年的老店，见证了爷爷60年来为了创业付出的心血和毅力，父母守夜的艰辛，还有他成长的回忆。
That round part there on the counter. that
Yeah,
round
it was
part,
shaved off.
It was shaved by my head a lot.
Oh,
When I was a kid, banging my head there. I mean, all my life I've remembered this place and being here or seeing my grandfather, and you had to have very respect for the elder, you know,
course,
that would be here.
of course.
Now I'm the elder here.
That's not true, she said.
Yeah, no, she's a little bit elder.
So over all these years of doing this business, what was the most challenging times for you?
In my age in the business, oh, that has to be the pandemic.
Oh yeah.
We were selling 5% of the usual. I mean, it was really, really, really bad.
其实当地人在疫情期间对罐头食品的需求确实变高。不过老店因为没有代理商店，罐头价格也不比在超市大批销售的对手实惠，生意反而大受打击。尽管如此， Tiago 也不愿降低成本和品质，做出妥协。身为第3代继承人，他目睹家族经营100年品牌背后的用心，绝不容许这份荣誉因急功近利而毁于一旦。
Why is canned seafood so important to you?
It's basically my heritage. It's in my blood. I cannot take it out, you know.
Yep.
It's in me.
在守护者眼里，一份商品因为独特的情感，成了捧在手心的宝。鱼罐头承载这个乡镇的丰盛，却也考验人心。当海洋供不应求，镇乡之宝的命运将会如何？ 这座被称为7丘之城的首都，坐落在蜿蜒起伏的山丘上， 却没有因为街道狭窄陡峭而失去繁华的资格。穿梭于小巷的电车，反而因为承载着100年历史，被保留成为当地特色。明伦这一趟来到里斯本，通过不同层面感受到葡萄牙人对历史与文化的重视。要追溯葡萄牙真正的辉煌史，就得回到它开启大航海时代的15世纪。葡萄牙面积只有邻国西班牙的1/5，却凭着勇于探索的精神，成为当时率领出海远征的佼佼者。里斯本是欧洲唯一坐拥大西洋海滩的首都，这里的居民视海如家，注定要在波涛汹涌中发光发热。明伦从人海走进大海，挖掘镇乡之宝的源头，看看世界第2大洋如何眷顾在海上成长的子民。
哇！一进来这个地方呢，你就感觉这整个地方真的是非常的繁忙，大家都很忙，然后很吵，很多声音，车子呢就来来往往这样子，人们呢就在那边分看今天捕获到什么鱼类这样子。
葡萄牙1年可以捕捞到大约15万吨的新鲜海产，其中有超过1/4来自里斯本都会区的渔港。塞辛布拉渔港距离里斯本市中心40公里，打从14世纪起，当地居民就多以捕鱼为生。
哎，大哥你好，今天渔获怎么样？
Não foi muito bom. Hoje a pesca foi mistura, como estão a ver, cavala, sardinha, boga, mistura. No good.
No good.
渔船如果意外捕获体型太小或非目标的鱼种，被称为兼捕现象。渔民不仅得花费时间和精力做分类，往往也造成不必要的资源浪费。近年来的渔获量大不如前，政府为了捕鱼业持续健康发展，禁止渔船在鱼繁殖季节进行捕捞。像沙丁鱼这样抢手的罐头原材料，1年只有7个月的合法捕捞期，年限额也从10年前的5万吨减少到2.9万吨，这也代表渔民的生计大受影响。
Eu estou nesta atividade 36 anos. Já não vou mais para lado nenhum. O estar aqui leva com que a gente consiga atrair as adversidades, os maus tempos, as partes negativas que esta vida tem.
即使捕鱼业日益式微，里斯本的海上男儿长期乘风破浪，早已练就顽强的意志力。他们受惠于大海，也准备为其奉献。71岁的 Ricardo 是名退休渔夫，他在海上出生，从9岁开始就跟随爷爷和父亲出海捕鱼，到现在生活还忙着为鱼打转。
Fui habituado, quando era pequeno, só comia aquilo que o meu pai apanhava. Não havia carne, não havia outras comidas. E habituei-me a comer peixe. E hoje quem me tira o peixe, tira-me tudo.
Hey, Ricardo,
Darren,
开饭了，我可以帮忙吗？
come here. Good.
啊 ，OK，
OK.
Yeah, yeah. 太棒了，耶！
É da família do tubarão, se chama aqui pata roxa. É um prato que faz bem para a caldeirada. Este pescado, tanto o congro é tamboril, portanto na mistura de pescados.
哇哦，怪不得它的味道这么香啊，因为里面综合了各种各样的鱼类的香味。Yes， 啊，神经啊！
渔民人家经历过海上的大风大浪，特别珍惜海洋的馈赠，也希望这份生计受到重视。据 Ricardo 说，这个渔村以前有1800位渔夫，450家渔业公司，现在只剩当时的10%。因为这一行没有受到国家最低薪资的保障，许多渔夫都不愿意让孩子继承父业。如今 Ricardo 不出海捕鱼了，却还愿意当村里渔民协会的主席，促进渔获买卖，提升渔民的收入和福利。
O barco, como já viram na manhã, precisa de 20 homens para ir para o mar. E curiosamente aquele pescado, aquele peixe que viram, é €1 por quilo, 50, 70 cêntimos, o que não é aliciante para os jovens embarcarem. Uma vida de alto risco, uma vida cansativa, no mar não é.
讲真的，它这个行业很难。我曾经有出过海，那个时候我们遇到的是很大的风浪，海浪大概6、7米高。可是这些渔夫哦，他们仍然还是得要连日连夜的在大海呢去捕鱼啊。环境已经这么辛苦了，最后回去捕获的鱼很少。很明显，其实现在我们全球都是在面临地球暖化现象。
Daquilo que o meu pai não conseguiu fazer nem o meu avô, mas dando outra vida, tentar dar outra vida de progresso, desenvolvimento, de economia, portanto, para a pesca, e acreditando que o mar que Portugal tem pode ter futuro em termos económicos, em termos de equilíbrio.
为了捍卫这个小镇的渔业文化 ，Ricardo 多年来自学法律，积极参与渔业政策的商议，探讨开放更多新的捕捞海域。庆幸的是，努力维护和传承海洋之宝的人不止他一个，还有一群人汲取古罗马人的智慧，把捕捞过程中不要的海洋资源化腐朽为神奇。
哇 ，Victor, what's that smell?
Hi, Darren.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, good, good. 我闻到一股很重的味道，很呛鼻，感觉有点像咸鱼的味道。
This is the amazing smell of doing the real Roman garum reproduction.
Garum 鱼酱是罗马帝国有名的调味料，将鱼或海鲜浸泡在盐水里发酵几个月到1年的时间，然后过滤杂质，形成风味独特的成品。因为需要用鱼内脏里的酵素来分解蛋白质，人们就能再循环利用鱼罐头工业的废料和煎捕现象中不要的鱼货物，打造出可食用的鱼酱。
This is the sardine one.
Wow, look at that. It's like liquid gold.
Yeah, there are some Roman texts that describe it exactly like you said. Some liquid transparent gold.
Wow. Oof. A bit.
Yeah, but then when you taste it, you will start feeling it's not so fishy, a little bit complex.
我觉得它很像我们的泰国的鱼露，就是我们炒菜一般用的鱼露。可是我们的鱼露就偏甜一点，它的这个就稍微咸一点点。
If you try that one, you will see that it's more complex, more caramel tones.
Yes, the smell is very different. It smells a bit like soy sauce. Let me try. 它有一股烟熏的香味，然后更加像鸡精的味道。如果用来炒菜的话，会蛮香的。It really tastes like the essence of chicken.
Yeah, you think so?
I think so. Yeah.
If we can put this on food and make it more healthy and more tasty. This could be very useful for food served to older people and also in hospitals.
It's a natural MSG.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes people happy when they eat.
Yeah, that's it.
曾经被遗弃的海洋生命，还好有人疼惜，让我们看见了仿佛魔法般的奇迹。Victor 多年来致力推广葡萄牙美食背后的历史文化，他和团队又能否为里斯本的镇乡之宝打造出新的魔法呢？葡萄牙人对海鲜爱不释手，每人一年平均吃掉59公斤的海鲜，足足是世界人均摄取量的3倍。随着渔获捕捞季节受到监管，有些无法常年新鲜享用的鱼类，因为有了罐头工艺的存在，进而成为葡萄牙人随时满足口欲的选择。近年来，鱼罐头还受到高端餐饮业的青睐，为其护航。
I always find that we could make different things with the tiny fish and make it more pleasant and elevate it to the next level.
罐头也有出头天，将鱼罐头打造成一道道精致料理，是 Can the Can 这家精品餐厅的主要卖点。这是 Victor 积极推广葡萄牙美食文化的另一个项目。以精品餐厅作为葡萄牙罐头工业和大众的交流站。
The Portuguese at the beginning, when we opened 10 years ago, yes, they used to think like, oh, I'm not going to a restaurant to eat tiny fish. But then with time, you kind of educate them because when they come, they have a surprise, they pass to the next level.
Hi, Victor.
Hi, Darren.
Hey.
How are you?
Good,
Welcome.
good. Wow. Look at that. 我觉得很特别，它这整间餐馆的装潢就是跟罐头有关系。你一踏进来，你就会看到一个大大的用罐头漆成的一个灯饰。
We have 3,000 cans there, and we made it to be a icon representing the canning industry in Portugal. These are the old plates for printing the papers that wrap the cans. We had the industry of metal sheets, toys. And during the war, they used the tin plates from the canning industry. They paint outside, but inside they have the brands still looking.
Victor 的餐厅像个小型博物馆，记录着葡萄牙鱼罐头在历史洪流里留下的人文价值。10年来，他收集了不少罐头的包装纸和设计图，有好些是20世纪出口到国外的品牌，如今已在市场绝迹。从这些珍藏品中，不难看出葡萄牙与邻国建立友好关系的小心思。
So if they were exporting to Greece, they will give a Greek god or something like that. If they were going to France, they will use a French woman name. In these old models of the cans, the can will go with the key.
Yes.
So you will roll it.
That's right.
To open it.
I've used one of those before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put it like here.
Yes.
Victor 他给我的感觉啊，他是一个真的很有趣的一个生意人，可以看到他很珍惜这一段过去这个历史，还有他们的这个传统。可是同时他又要创新，让它发扬光大。
Hi, hello. This is our chef.
Hello, Pedro. Nice to meet you.
Welcome.
Okay.
This is the magician with the flavors and the great food that we have here. Our
Victor 喜欢把餐厅形容成研发新罐头料理的实验室。在这里，厨师要放大味蕾的敏锐度，找出能够和鱼罐头擦出最美火花的配料和酱汁。
In summer in Portugal, the tomato is amazing.
sweet and sour and have a texture. You can smell.
Already you can smell it.
Like a barbecue.
Because the sardine is very fat.
Very fat.
Yeah, so when you touch it, the fragrance will come out.
Now I'm gonna fish the plate with some coriander foam, okay?
这样子一看哦，你就知道它其实没有再过分的加工。
Can is really, really good. I try to respect the can.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. Wow.
The second dish is gonna be a tuna belly.
Wow.
For me, this is a real deal of the can, like butter in your mouth.
Pedro， 我一进入他的厨房，就被他的那股热忱带动了。他的节奏很快，他谈到食物，你就可以感觉到他非常的积极。我喜欢他的用心。
I need to open many cans and taste with it or taste. This is good. This is not good for the dishes.
Yeah.
I think everything about the knowledge. The most difficult thing it's me, myself, and myself believe this is a good product to use. I gonna put some canned mussels.
如果他不说这个是罐头的，我还会以为说是刚刚才煮出来的哦。你看它颜色多鲜艳。
当我第一次听到说它可以把罐头鱼点石成金，把它变成一道美食的时候，我也很好奇他会怎么做。其实他所在当中做的改变并没有很大很大。在葡萄牙，我所认识到的罐头海鲜，一直都是主角，只不过是说现在找来了更多的配角去搭衬它，让它更加的鲜明。
This is a summer in Portugal.
哇哦，葡萄牙的夏天。
So fresh.
用这些新鲜的食材来代表夏天，再配上烟熏的香味的这个沙丁鱼，哇，真的是绝配。It's not too fatty, right? It blends very well. 这是我第一次品尝这个金枪鱼它的肚子的部位哦，而且它是罐装的哦。它的肉质哦，很有咬劲，然后因为它的酸。就会导致它不会这么的肥腻，所以是很容易吃的一道菜。鱼的味道呢也非常的浓郁。
Sometimes people ask me if you have so good fresh sardines or tuna in Portugal, why do you want to cook with some tiny food? The answer is because it's a different product.
一个是新鲜的鱼。一个是灌起来的鱼，那么灌起来的鱼，它的味道会有所改变，而改变的来，我想拿一个最好的比方就是新鲜的猪肉，还有火腿肉。那么火腿肉就不好吃吗？不是啊。火腿肉就不健康吗？不是啊。也有很顶级的火腿肉，也是很健康的。
Now that I've tasted your canned sardine and canned tuna belly, it's my turn to present you a surprise. Hello. 有很多大厨啊，他们的衣服上面都会插一个汤匙，在这里呀。So， 到我准备我们的 surprise。
其实，新加坡家喻户晓的沙丁鱼罐头品牌，也是在19世纪由法国人引进来的。我们常吃的番茄口味，葡萄牙人并不陌生。
All right, so this is my surprise for you. This is called
Wow,
the Summer of Singapore.
Wow.
You made?
Yeah. I made it with two gestures, 1 and 2. This is what I eat since young.
This is a sardine.
Yes.
Okay. I want more sauce.
Pedro, what do you think of this sardine?
This is very similar, okay, with a Portuguese sardine. The sauce is really good. Maybe the sardine is a little bit more dry.
It's not so fat as ours.
Yeah.
But the sauce, it's really like ours. It's perfect. It's very Portuguese dish.
Oh, that's good.
Very nice. So when we go there, you tell us the brand.
Yes.
So we feel at home.
Okay.
葡萄牙人在生机勃勃但也危机重重的大西洋里，收获了美食的来源，创造出既实惠又有文化价值的宝物。他们努力做到最好，因为心里明白，所谓的镇乡之宝，唯有走入民间，才是永恒之道。
We don't want to go to Michelin-star restaurants. We want to be in an intermediate stage that allowed us to make these experiences and have people to try.
It's a very traditional industry, but they are innovating.
We want to do the best. The idea is not to conquer the world. It's for the people that really want it and really like it.
罐头鱼在里斯本吧，不单只是一个促进他们的经济的一个产品这么简单，这个是他们一种身份的象征。他们在不知不觉中已经身在福中，而他们知福，这个是很美的一件事情。
Estala foguetes no ar, cabeças forcadas com graça, com música a tocar. Vão a caminho da praça, calçam jaquete e barrete, e com a cinta encarnada, forcada de alcochete. Linda figura fardada, na corrida nesse dia, foi vista a mais bela